días, buenas tardes, buenas noches, compañeros y compañeras.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm very pleased to have you here today.
Estamos aquí.
Sovereign, free, Haiti. We're transmitting live on YouTube and other channels. We're transmitting all over the world in three languages, in English, Spanish, and Creole. So please be most welcome to our talk today. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm speaking I'm Giovanni, I'm on behalf of the International Secretariat of the Defense for the People. And here today we're going to talk about sovereign, free of occupation of ID, where we're going to talk about a deep analysis where we'd like to underline some of these points that we'll be talking today. And this is a very important week that we are celebrating the 36th anniversary of the Constitution of Haiti, where there have been where people managed to overthrow the Duvalier military government, and where we are still today fighting for social justice, sovereignty, and our own decision-making without external intervention. Today, we're going to be talking, other speakers will be here today to talk about what we are going through today, and that the experts today are going to be talking about this 60% of inflation of oil. There's an inflation of the 48% annual inflation, 48%. And this is all related to the current government that has no legitimacy to the presidency over Haiti. This is completely imperialist. And we're also talking here that there's the possibility of the threat of from foreign intervention of the militaries. Within all of this context, talking about the fight for classes in ID. Today, we have Islanda, today from the organization of Collet, and also talking about the chapter in ID, and then also Camille Chalmers from the platform PAPTA of ID, who also forms part of the organization Chapter ID. So I believe that today that we'll be able to talk about this meeting. Please be welcome, and please feel free to share with your contacts the talk today. And today this will be recorded. You may return to this talk later, where I am sure that today you will see an excellent analysis of what the current situation in ID is. There will also be today one of our colleagues who will be presenting his book, which is about ID itself. And now, Islanda, please. Please present. She will be presenting her analysis today, and she will be summarizing some of the important events that have been about, and in this very important week that ID is going through, commemorating the 33 years of the Haiti Constitution. Alba, it's a pleasure for me today. I am part of Alba movement today, and it will be a pleasure to share of the IT crisis. And I would like to start by saying that it's not surprising that when we hear about Haiti on the news, it's always in crisis, that it's going through cholera at this moment, and they forget about the history of Haiti and our revolution. We would like to start by saying that Haiti is in a crisis.
Nan complicité et avec communauté internationale qui mettait Haïti dans chaos, yo toujours ap di Haïti.
A crisis where the international community should be more involved in this. Since 1950, not going so far back, we know that the situation, the crisis in Haiti is due to the military occupation. We know that it's a poor country, it's a black country, and since the colonial times, we managed to throw out the foreigners. The Haitian people have fought against colonization and anti-racism, and also will be passing from another moment in time after 1915, where the dominating the logic that was followed in 1915 was that of a neoliberal country that have enabled the occupation by the USA that has enabled a change in our economical system within the country, and where the state ended up being neoliberal, where deep social conflict has arisen for the last 20 years. And then afterwards we went into, there was a lot of violence and uprisals, and there was a repression by the police that massacred the people, which gave rise to the Duvaliers' dominance that ended in 1986, where all of the organizations in Haiti were protesting against this military government, where the power was passed on from father to son. And in this sense, many organizations have fought against Toto Makut, who was the military arm of Duvalier's command. And then there was the extreme right, like FRAP, and then there was a military coup against the democracy from the times of Chimay, and then after that, the country had civilians groups uprising in arms, where there was a violent repression. And this is what is going on currently, is happening, where our human rights are being violated by the military. The military government from 1955 and 1986 has caused an emigration from the country, massive emigration, due to the conditions within the country, but they were forced to leave the country, to leave their land, and in this massive wave of migration from the country, most of the intellectuals also fled the country. And then moving down the line, the International Monetary Fund assisted Haiti in a neoliberal policy that was never intended for the benefit of Haiti, that has actually weakened all the structured and the public institutions within the country, that has been destroyed all the possibilities to thrive economically within the country, where the military, that they broke the military independence in the country. So they created a free trade zone where people's land was unjustly seized from the countryman, which is disastrous for the economy of the country. The Piquet is one of the first free trade zones within the country, and we know that all of these agreements for free trade zone between the government and the institutions that funded these type of free trade zone has created a food crisis, famine in some parts of the country. Since 1995, that is where all the farm workers, the farm people who lived in the countryside, they migrated towards the city, which overpopulated the city. The connection, the interpreter cannot hear, is unable to. Islanda connection has closed, and now we hear her. Because of all what's going on right now with the mobilization within the country and the crisis that is going on in the country, in 2004, the blue helmets of the United Nations, they left many childless children. They orphaned many children. They violated human rights, and they had absolute impunity. And then in 2010, with the earthquake that shook the country, that it did not allow the country to thrive, to grow. And then afterwards, in 2011, when Michel Agdedi was unjustly, by means of fraud, became president. And we also know the corruption that lies within the country.
Qui inscrit dans un cadre bien spécifique dans l'agenda impérialiste là, côté que vous voulez consolider le pouvoir par tous les moyens.
They put into power the government at the time, and they used force in order to maintain power within the country. As a matter of fact, the people won the elections on 29th of March of 1986. We won the elections, but they tried to break this in the last year. And if we were to look at the article of the Constitution that mentions specifically about the violation of human rights of the Haitian people, and there was a military intervention in the Article 1 of the Haitian Constitution, which declares that it is treason. And this, we know that this is a military government, and it's an illegitimate government that has no right whatsoever to ask for military intervention from external countries to intervene in the country's domestic affairs. And these foreign countries are supporting the country, and when the people of Haiti have said no to these foreign interventions, foreign military intervention, and within also organizations from Latin America that support Haiti, where we have full solidarity with the Haitian country, where the country of the
also to talk
Haitian,
about, because the Haitians,
which is
autonomous and sovereign people. And we are also talking about the situation about safety in the country, where the armed forces, they were created together with the people, and the massacres that have been happening in this country, they have been happening now, and they want to organize the next elections so they can keep themselves in power. And these armed forces, they believe in the terror in the country. They killed and they burned the population. And the lady that was the secretary for the Haiti, it was the same for the Federation of the Armed Forces. And she also led the Federation. She's also responsible for this organization. She's also provoked the advancement of the armed forces. And to finish, we say, we members of the capital in Haiti, and all these organizations here in Haiti, in our country, we've been fighting for self-determination of our country and of our people, and all the societies and all the civilian societies. What is happening? This government and the juridic principle, the international, we have been fighting for a free country, a free people, and also without repression. We say thank you for the international solidarity, for the sovereign people from Haiti, and no to military occupation. Excellent. Thank you very much, Islanda, for a just, a fair, and sovereign Haiti. Because this is a crisis made up by the imperialism and the oligarchies here in Haiti. And Haiti has been fighting, well, has been fighting for social justice and also to fight against imperialism. It's very important to share with you the organizations and articles that belong to all this work, the solidarity work about this meeting today. I'd like to introduce you the names of the organizations. It's a Unitarian entity and lots of other organizations that support to the Haitian people, who also thank us and favor us with their organization. We have the Assembly of the People from the Caribbean and the National Assembly, and also the committee for the nullification of the second, and also the medical board, and also the national and popular for the Latin America, and also the African descended, and also the people from the south of the Americas, and also the panel, it's a platform, is also, and also to support. It's very important to keep in mind what is being happening and all the organizations that have been supporting this meeting. So this meeting can be broadcast and also being interpreted in different languages and also reach different people. We would like to, the next presentation, my partner, Emil Chavez, our teacher, will tell us about, we'll give his analysis, and welcome, mate, and this is your time to speak. Thank you very much, Giovanna. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here, and thank you for this very warming welcoming, and also to everyone who's been contributing for this thing to be happening. And during this time that I have, I will try to be succinct and also to talk about a scheme. What it would be more important to understand the scenario where we've been going through, and also about the clues about the solidarity. I have 6 things to talk about. And we're going to talk about this thing that has been written by Giovanni in Islanda, which has been like what has been happening in Haiti for 4 years. Unemployment and the buying power of the popular, the low social media class, with the appreciation of our currency, and also a significant increase in the unemployment rate. And within this economic context, and there is also a limitation to our daily life because of the forced on, and also because these people have been controlling, and and they have guns and ammunition, and there is impunity. And they also make use of violence against the population. And it seems as if we are talking about a war. 131 dead people in 3 months, more than 30 kidnappings, more than 160,000 people unemployed. And these are very serious things that show the violence against the people from Haiti by the mainstream government and the imperialism. For instance, the acquisition of the guns. These guns come from the United States and they are made in the US. And the US are not doing anything in order to control this traffic. And at the same time, they impose this economic embargo because we can't buy guns. This is a caricature that favors this imperialistic plan in relation to our region. Islanda has talked about the choices that we've been going through the last years. For example, the dictatorship, which included more than 30,000 people, and also the deposition of the Republican things, and also the imperialism. We've been talking about the imperialistic plan since 1983, the monetary fund, and also nowadays the Prime Minister has signed a new agreement with the monetary fund, which imposes an increase in the price of fuels and also in the trade of fuel. And also in 2010, we have 3,000 dead people. And also with the earthquake, which is a perfect example, the capitalism of disaster, because they took advantage of to take control of the situation in the country. We're talking about hope, because the process of democratic building or construction was interrupted at least 3 times by coups. In 1991, a bloody one. In 2004, and another one, an electoral one with the imposition of the 2010 with a far-right government. And I think this is the most serious, because it's an imposition of a far-right government, which belongs to a continental plan. Why? Because the United States were facing this progressive cycle that was happening in some Latin countries, and the United States has organized themselves to fight this. And when I hear the rhetoric of the Bolsonaro or Micherline, I can see lots of similarities, because it seems as if we were having an international plan to fight the popular advancement in our continent. Therefore, it's very important in this national context, also in the international scenario, the geopolitical weight also here in the Caribbean, because the Caribbean has an important role in the accumulation of capital, and also the maritime route between Cuba and Venezuela, which unites Cuba and Venezuela, which seems to imperialism that could change the balance. This may explain why the imperialism wants to control the situation in Haiti and all this destructive violence that has been imposed to the groups here. Having said that, during all these 36 years, we have seen lots of very significant popular movements, sometimes 1 million people in the streets. There's a lot of people, lots of crowds and movements. For instance, the peasants in the countryside and also the urban organizations, which have also been questioning not only a political movement, and also we have also seen an increase of the political consciousness in relation to it against this group that has been responsible for the poverty and all the misery in Haiti. And this is a very significant movement, but it's not very well known around the world. Still, it is important that we have an interconnected communication between all the movements, what is happening here in Haiti, and also the sacrifice that we've been going through in spite of the enormous violence carried out by the opposing groups. See, we have to take into consideration, as Islanda had said, the Prime Minister doesn't have any legitimacy. It has been imposed by the United Nations, and he's been carrying out all the plans by the far right, as if it was a consensual agreement, but it hasn't been consensual. It's just an agreement that intends to go on with the same view without a national referendum and without elections. And this week, for example, with 36th anniversary of our Constitution, because this Constitution has been adopted the apex, very important conquest, for instance, the countryside situation, and to recognize Creole as an official language, which has been recognized and not before. And also the communism. And also what we can import here and what we can make here. There are lots of factors which have to be analyzed in the accumulation of capital, and also to destroy this constitution and go back to an autocratic kind of government. It's very important to notice that the United States have just published a plan for the following 10 years of Haiti, and it's called the Global Fragility Act. And this includes a limited list of countries. It's the continuity of a dominant neoliberal plan to dominate Haiti. This plan also addresses the reinforcement of our national airspace by the foreign capital. And we can say that the false international help, it's a migratory plan by them that aims to receive 30,000 people coming from Haiti, Cuba, Nicaragua. And when we analyze these three countries, we can see what is been happening. And this offer of welcome immigrants is a strategy to destabilize the population in these countries. And this is very important to have, not to fall for this trap, and we don't listen much to the popular sector, to the popular organization. And to finish, we do need to talk about solidarity, and we have to welcome the solidarity process that is happening in Haiti. And with the presence of the Cuban doctors here in Haiti, which have been a fantastic work because they are very engaged with the people. We can also talk about everything what Hugo Chavez has been done in order to support Haiti.
And also a lot of
And also
networks in our network, like Alba Movimientos and the International Assembly of el Movimiento Sin Tierra. And there's a lot of things that come from the Dominican Republic, Trinidad and Tobago, Argentina. Not only to ensure these processes of solidarity, but also to give a little bit, to amplify the voice of people in Haiti. And to that sense, I'm going to list out some tracks around some solidarity, some tactics of solidarity. I think it's important to change the dominant narrative of the press in Haiti because the press continues this racist discourse and to not interpret correctly what is happening in Haiti and to demonstrate that Haiti is a chaotic place. So it is very important to change this narrative. It is very basic to be able to build these networks of solidarity. Also to control the flow of information that comes from Haiti and to connect it to the concrete struggles that are happening not only in Haiti, but throughout Latin America. We would want to also see how information is flowing through social media and other mediums of communication that speak on popular movements. So it is important to understand that these themes be present, not only to understand what is happening in Haiti, but also what is happening across Latin America in the same moment concurrently. And to understand who are the popular or the actors at play. And also, for example, it is very important to understand or to have a balance in the nations who are present and who have continued to make worse the situation in Haiti through imperialist practices and processes. Haiti. Could you please mention the countries that are part of this core group? I think it would be really important to identify these names. Yes, it's the United States, Canada, France, Brazil, Argentina. And so it's basically those countries, and it's also representatives of the United Nations or the European Union, France, and they are the ones who constitute the core group and have had a huge role, negative role to Haiti in the last couple of years. And we also have to mention that PNUD, the actual expression, Elanin, and there is an important change this week. And we know that this week there is a political cuadros, excuse me, interpreted not here. I think it would be very important to pressure this person who is not coming from the same rights wing as the United States and to denounce everything that is being done in this alliance in between United Nations, the United States, and the right extremists side of Haiti. We also have to work towards a radical change in Haiti. And I can give an example in the last resolution that was adopted by the Council of the United Nations last year, Council of Security, they talked about sanctions against people who are financing gangs. But in the resolution, it spoke about multilateral sanctions, and the United States and Canada were taking on these ideas of sanctions bilaterally sanctions controlled by the United States and by Canada, sanctioning people without giving much support on the um, on the parameters. And so this lends itself to global domination. So we have to change this system of the United Nations and to cultivate alliances with governments that are within the Council of Security in the United Nations in order to change these relationships. I think it would be really important to also organize maybe every 6 months missions of solidarity on the land, because this would allow not only to be able to project a new image of what is happening in Haiti, but also to be able to build new alliances with folks who are on the ground. And the organizations like France Fanon is organizing a movement in Haiti soon. But I think it would be really important to organize with other initiatives in order to have more impact. We, of course, remember the mission of Adolfo Pérez Esquile in 2005 in Haiti that had a lot of importance to be able to reveal what was happening on the ground. And also, it is very important to organize tours around a certain cities to be able to talk about what is happening in Haiti. Specifically, I'm talking about the series of the United Nations, Congress in the United States. I'm talking about Congress in Canada and France, Congress in the European nations, uh, and to also talk about the BRICS, CELAC, and African Union. I think it is really important to talk about the connection between Haiti and the African Union and talk about the movements, popular movements around anti-imperialism that's happening and concurrent happening now in Africa. And for example, what is happening in Mali and other countries. And so this direct connection between the Haitian crisis and what is happening in Africa is a key point, I believe. And also, I think it is really important to promote the proposals of popular movements. Uh, for example, when we're talking about, we know that there is an agreement, the Agreement of Montana, that proposes the organization of electoral bodies and uh, economies. And this proposal of Montana is really important to recognize and to see how we can support this proposal that comes from Haitian players. We're also thinking that another important element would be the campaigns for reparations. For example, the debt that was placed on Haiti by France, the debt of post-enslavement that Haiti had to pay to France, previous owners of enslaved people. It was a horrible thing, and it was an element that was super important in sabotaging the development of the Haitian nation. So no, the occupation of American military of Haiti and the reparation of the violation of women by soldiers, also orphans in the country, and the introduction of cholera that killed about 40 million people, Haitian citizens that were not repaired. Also, the enforcement of gangs by United Nations and the trafficking of arms. Right now, that we see the initiative from the Mexican government and the fabrication of arms we know that are being exported by traffickers, drug traffickers, and gangs in Mexico who are responsible for more than 90% of folks who are killed. And also, we know it's important to accompany the construction of infrastructure, like public health, education, really important elements that will be really important in the rebuilding. And also the defense, the advocacy of immigrants.
Y todas las clases dominantes en la región utilizaron esas trabajadores en
We know
momentos
that workers were used during specific times, and the cost of labor and the exploitation of these laborers. It is important to recognize the connection of these workers to these popular movements. And I also think that it is important to try to coordinate a type of coordination with Haiti. There's so much that is being done, and there's a lot of repetition. And I think it is really important to have more communication, more integration within our solidarity movements, and also to take advantage that in 2024 we're going to be celebrating the 220th anniversary of the revolution of 1844. And I think it will be really important to project the importance of this revolution so that folks do know the role of this revolution in the global scale, and to understand that Afro descendants have not been prioritized by the United Nations, and that we were hoping that we are hoping that popular movements will continue to move around this. This hasn't happened, but we hope that it will. And we also know that in Latin America, we are in a time of revolution. The severity of the crisis that is being lived by the masses is a revolution. And it is important to recognize the revolutionary processes of the region, and that we must continue this revolution that hasn't had its closure. And it's important to recognize that we are in a very serious crisis and must connect with what is happening with Haiti and this revolutionary process across the continent.
Excelente, excelente, Cami. Gracias. Tú ya adelantó una buena parte también aquí porque nosotros estamos recibiendo aquí preguntas.
Excellent. It is, we are receiving some questions about solidarity. What can we do about solidarity within our countries or our organizations? So you've already talked about this. So it's a very important action. I think that you presented like 12 points. If you can afterwards share that with us, all people that are working for letting this known, will be grateful if you share these points. So let's all work in a unitary way and a consolidated way. We are receiving some questions. I will read them, and then we will make a round of these questions, and we will pose them to Islanda and to Camille. We have some comments about in the three languages we have. We have salutations from friends from Cuba, comrades from Italia, Brazil, United States, Africa, South Africa, and Costa Rica. So let's the struggle is international, and the hope is international too. So all countries will have this task to send this link to all our contacts so that this talk will be recorded and will be accessible to everyone who wants it another time later on. I would like to ask Josue if you can present the book you are writing. I don't know if I said your name perfectly. I'm trying to do my best with my, I'm from Brazil and I'm speaking Spanish. So if I said it wrong, please correct me. You have 5 minutes to present us the book you are organizing. Please unmute your microphone. Your microphone is muted. Camille, would you please turn off your mic? Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Giovanni. First of all, I would like to greet all those who are participating in this great meeting today. I thank you for your presence and your solidarity, all you are giving to the Haiti population. This is a people that are struggling very hard to get rid of the Yankee imperialism. I would like to present to you a book that's going to be released in published in 2 or 3 weeks. The name of the title of the book is International Solidarity in Haiti or something like that. It's a collective book that has the support of Josue. I am a union member, the president of the a teachers organization, and I am also a member of a popular organization. This is a collective work. The book comes from a collective work. It's written in French and English, and we have texts that come from different writers. Neta Desume and others. There are texts that come from militants from the Caribbean, some comrades. He is naming some comrades. And the book also has some content from African people, Boys Buka, it's from Senegal. Also, Miguel that come from the Antilles, but he's now in Europe. Also, text from Danny Shaw from the United States, in University of New York. Texts that come from different authors, such as Pérez Esquivel, among others. This book is a book that depicts what Islanda and Camille were saying. The situation, the terrible situation that Haiti people is suffering, is living. The book tries to centralize what is happening in Haiti and talks also about, apart from that, proposes how Haiti could get rid of the crisis, could could end the crisis. This book is a collection of contributions and has the voice of different comrades who do not agree with what's happening in Haiti and who notice that what is happening in Haiti it was caused by what came before the revolution, something that happened, and it was a landmark in world history. The West does not want to leave African peoples in peace. So they are trying to turn Haiti also a hell. These armed gangs are massacring and torturing the Haitian population. And the criminal state is an accomplice. And also the imperialist countries if we see this economic and social situation of Afro descendants, and also the political situation, we can see that they want to possess Haiti. They created a very terrible situation for Haiti, so many voices rose and friends from Haiti and from friends to Haiti, and also writers, to say no to this chaotic situation in which Haiti is. And they are claiming for full solidarity with the people in Haiti against imperialism, to end the genocide imposed by Washington against the country. But the proposals in this book are directed to let people understand what's happening in Haiti, seeing the voice of different actors, different writers. So every country in the world should help Haiti to get out under the claws of the imperialism. This book is a call for solidarity. It's a solidarity chain in favor of the Haitian people, calling all intellectuals, those with awareness, all organizations, to contribute with their solidarity to help the Haitian people to be a free people and sovereign people. We also want to tell to all comrades present here that solidarity with the Haitian people is very important. This is the book, the front of the book, and it's going to have some tools that will help the international solidarity and reinforce it too. In this book, we have to manifest all the help for the Afro descendants In this book, we can say all the organization and comrades that are here with us must help us buying this book and spreading the word about the book so many more people can know what is happening in Haiti. So this solidarity is more active and full to help the Haitian people. In 2 weeks and 3 weeks, when the book is published, we ask all comrades to help us to spread the word, to let people know what's happening in Haiti, what is really happening. From today on, I will start sending you some fragments of the book so that you can start some debates about what is being said in the book, and also to demonstrate how important it is to reinforce the concrete actions of solidarity with the Haitian people. Thank you very much. Excellent, comrade. Excellent for your presentation. It was very important to put in the list of solidarity the wide diffusion of the book. And also, Camille, it's important to work with the editorials so that we can translate it into other languages, and also spread the news about the book and make it known in other countries. So everyone with helping with their hands there. I would like to present Islanda and also Camille. We have a translators team that is doing all the work, trying to get all the countries and systematizing them so that we can visualize it better and then answer them. Okay, first question, I would like you to take it into consideration, both of them, and also to start the last intervention so that we can get closer to the end of our talk. The first question is how we can fight against the Eurocentrism and the colonialism of the system that reinforced the presence of this is sorry.
What strategy can we have in order to counter the what strategies can we move forward in our movements in order to struggle against the neoliberal model that wants to impose solidarity based on capitalism that only favors the dominant sector? So here we have these two questions. So we will start by Islanda, then Camille, 5 minutes each, and then we close. Right? Great. So Islanda, go ahead. I would like to answer the second question, and I will leave the first question to Camille. Now, what strategy that all of us popular organizations have thought about in order to fight neoliberalism policies is, first of all, to make rallies constantly until we will have a populist government that will raise the grassroots voices. And what's important to all of us is that we need to struggle in order to refound our homeland. There is a dominant narrative that wants us to believe that we cannot stand united. And that wants us to believe that Haitians need to quit the country in order to become cheap labor in other countries. And we are against all these policies. We believe that we need to fight against this economic model and that we need to strengthen, to become stronger, and to also favor our peasants. Our peasants love this land. And I believe that with a popular government, it will be possible for peasants to become stronger and not to give away their lands to favor bourgeoisie. On the contrary, with the proper policies, agriculture in our country can prosper. We know that Moise, before he died, he took away land from the peoples, from peasants, from agricultures. And we saw also that it was important to favor friendship between various countries. But President Moise decided to break up his relations with Venezuela. And because of this, there were many problems that ensued. He did not want to acknowledge Maduro's administration. And because of this, we are lacking of a fuel. And he also voted against this a popular government which is in place in Venezuela. So Moise, before he died, he expelled some of the peasants from their lands, many hectares of land. He used this land to give it to a member of the bourgeoisie in our country. His name is Apep, so that he could start growing these lands for Coca-Cola. So these peasants became just workers, labor on their own land. So one thing that we need to do in order to refound our country is to go against any kind of project or policy aimed at dividing us to favor their their domination. So in order to revert this situation, we need to face this system that wants to weaken our organizations. And we need to find the ways in which we can strengthen grassroots. And they know that if they don't weaken our organizations, our movements are going to become stronger. So they created horrible conditions here in our country. They're wreaking havoc in Haiti. They are debilitating or weakening our organizations throughout all their actions so that our population leave the country. And we believe that strengthening grassroots organizations, by strengthening them, we will have a better narrative that our organizations will be able to work in favor of all the grassroots. And another thing that it will be possible is to make our people aware of what is going on. And number three, also to mobilize our population, which will favor also international solidarity. And thanks to international solidarity, we will be able to change all the situation. This is what they want to prevent us from doing. An excellent summary. So Camille, I am now going to give you the floor. But before that, our friend said that the way in which we need to work is by strengthening grassroots organizations. Can you hear me? I don't know if you are having problems with your internet.
Sí, escuchamos. Sí,
Can you hear me? Yes. Please go on. I couldn't hear what Giovanni said, but thank you very much for these two questions that are very important. On Eurocentrism, well, the Haitian popular movements and the Caribbean popular movements in general are within a important tradition of their own Marxism, decolonial Marxism and thoughts. We can say that in Haiti, one of the most important authors that started the decolonization reflection is when in 1816, because in order to defend the Haitian Revolution, he was defending intellectuals coming from Europe that wanted to disqualify the Haitian Revolution. And he used many resources in order to depict what the colonial system was. And he wrote a book named Sistema Colonial Desvelado. It's an Enigma. He is the father of all the decolonial movement. And also at the end of the 19th century, Vermeer, he was the first one to go to the anthropological basis of racism in Europe. And he dismantled all those racist theories. And the Haitian Revolution conveyed many important elements. For instance, the founder of the Haitian nation, they were aware of the importance of defining a state using other categories that are not going, or that were not going to systematically imitate the European bourgeois state. So it is very important to disseminate these values and to know that in the Caribbean for long we have had a Marxist creative reflection that is centered on the oppressed, racialized, overexploited peoples. And this connection, we are organizing a political school on Marxist policies in the Caribbean. And I believe that we need to stop from repeating constantly categories that come from Europe without bearing in mind the class contradictions that we are living in the peripheria of capitalism, and by taking into consideration how world capital has been wanting to create in our territory. So this is a very important reflection that we need to do. But we need to be careful because there is a long post-modern tradition, a long anti-decolonizing trend that wants to say that Marxism is no longer relevant because they say that he was European. So we need to be careful. Okay, of course, Marxism can be reinvented from concrete situations. So it is very important to bear in mind this new Marxism Caribbean tradition that has been going on for more than 2 centuries now, and that takes ground in the processes of popular struggles, and also our revolution in 1904 was already a criticism against domination around the world. And our theories are important to face all these situations. And we need to continue denouncing the NGOs schemes. They want us to be disconnected. It is important, it is very important. It's important to criticize the intellectual attempts of Europe of dividing us, but we cannot disregard some important revolutionary initiatives in Europe, because this also makes part of our world heritage. And we need to vindicate this, but we need to have clarity from our concrete reality. And this is the only way in which we can produce critical knowledge that could be helpful for revolutionary processes and also helpful for the global revolutionary process. So we need to remain critics of some anti-colonialist visions, but we also need to read and have a new interpretation of Marxism in order to put it at the service of our fights. And in Haiti, we have many categories that enable us to think about all these issues, to rethink about the state organization, to rethink about the struggle of classes, bearing in mind current contradictions. And we are highly interested in having this exchange on this critical thinking in the Caribbean and all the reflections that have been going on all throughout our continent. Of course, when we talk about reconstructing Haiti, one of the key issues is to a radical breakoff with the neoliberal model, as Islanda said. This is one of the most important shocks that explain the current situation in terms of the peasants' deterioration, the peasants' very difficult conditions, and how the world capital destroyed productive capabilities in our country. So we have to move away from neoliberalism. We have to move away from capitalism. And this is what we need to do right now in order to move forward in this emancipation process for our people. Thank you very much, Islanda. Thank you very much, Josue, Camille. Thank you for your profound analysis on Haiti's situation. And I am telling you, I really want to be part of this class, this course that Camille told us about in order to have access to this knowledge on Marxism and the new methodologies of understanding what is going on in Latin America and the Caribbean. So thank you very much. I'd like to warmly acknowledge the presence of all of you. This meeting and other meetings that are going to be held are going to give you more information. We have to acknowledge the work being done by ALBA Movimientos, the International Assembly of the Peoples, of the Committee for the Condemnation of the Third World Debt, the Latin American Council for Workers, and also other organizations, Convit y Papinam. So these are the organizations that have been working together and that have been responsible for today's meeting in order to disseminate this message. As we have seen, one of the ways in which we can stand in solidarity is to talk about the Haitian people, to talk about their crisis, and to understand that this crisis has been invented and fabricated by imperialism. And what they want to do is just to continue accumulating capital, because Haiti is a strategic interest for the United States government and imperialism. So this is what they want. They want to overturn their presidents and to impose a neoliberal agenda. This is why the Haitian people continue to fight against. And this is the reason why we wanted to share with you this information so that everyone knows what are our causes for the struggle, not against a new military intervention in Haiti. We want the Haitian people's sovereignty to be respected, and this is a crisis that has been created, and also the respect to the Haitian people's self-determination. We say no to a change to the constitution in order to satisfy local oligarchies and imperialism, and to say yes to cooperation, to solidarity, to defend their lives and their rights. So once again, thank you very much. Thank you very much to interpreters that have been working today here in order to disseminate this webinar in 3 different languages. This is the first time we do a conference in English, Creole, and Spanish and English, and we want the Haitian people to know that here we are struggling, and we will always be standing in solidarity with Haiti because their fight is the fight of all workers. So thank you very much. Please share this content in your social media. We will be always here ready to extend our cooperation and solidarity. Thank you very much. Greetings to all. Long live Haiti. We will prevail.